Hey guys, welcome back to yet another Halo tier list video. Today, we're going to be cracking into the ultimate Halo helmet tier list. 232 helmets to go through. There's going to be a lot of them, so I'm going to spend a lot less time on each kind of ranking in this video for obvious reasons. I'm ranking these based on literally just my own personal subjective preference. No lore, no like mechanical details, literally just how much I like the helmet or dislike it. However, there are going to be some rules, so we are doing every single equipable helmet from both campaign and multiplayer, besides the Fractures helmets from Halo 2 Anniversary, Halo 3 and Halo Reach in MCC, but we are going to be doing all the Fractures helmets from Halo Infinite, so Eaglestrike and the other ones, we're going to be doing all of those. For the later games, in particular Halo 4 and Halo 5, I'm not going to be doing duplicate helmets, so there are a lot of helmets that are shared between those two games that don't change at all, so I won't be ranking them twice, and unlike 343, I've not forgotten playable elites in this video. We're ranking all the Spartan helmets and elite helmets, so I say we waste no more time and jump into this absolute behemoth of a tier list video. So starting off, we have an S+ tier helmet, the original Halo 1 Mark 5, absolutely iconic, the literal Oxford Dictionary definition of iconic right here. Such presence on screen, incredible stylization, the greatest piece of power armor, honestly, for me in like sci-fi. This is the most beautiful helmet, I would say, at least one of the most beautiful helmets in the entirety of Halo. Marcus Leto and Shikai Wang, when they made this helmet, they created perfection. They really did. And then we have the CEA, the Combat Evolved Anniversary Mark 5 helmet, which it's going to go in D tier, right? Although I will say, in fact, no, C tier. Of all the pieces of Combat Evolved Anniversary Chief, the helmet is like the best. The body looks awful, but the helmet is okay, but I mean, compared to original Mark 5, it's nothing like it. Moving over to Halo 2, we have the incredibly iconic Mark 6, which is going to go a tiny bit below Mark 5, but I mean, I absolutely love Halo 2's Mark 6 so much. Again, incredibly iconic, defined an entire generation, in fact, 2 generations, if not still all the generations of Halo have been defined by this helmet. The fact that we've gone back to it in Infinite shows how beloved this style of Mark 6 helmet is, and it's not lost any of its iconicness, shall we say. And the same goes for the Arbiter's armor in Halo 2 as well, also going to go in S+ tier. Absolutely beautiful, ornate, historic armor that looks fantastic, really sets itself apart from the other like elite power harnesses. You can tell that this is an ancient piece of armor that has a lot of weight to it, both in terms of its lore and its design. Not talking about lore in this video, but had to briefly mention it there. The Arbiter's armor in Halo 2 and Halo 3, but Halo 2 in particular is my absolute favorite. And then we have, because we can play as elites in the Halo 2 multiplayer, the Elite Miner helmet in Halo 2. Also going S+ tier, Halo 2's elites for me are the best alien design in sci-fi, full stop. They are the best design for me. No elites in Halo have ever come close. They are my favorites, and God, I love them so much. Their armor is sleek, but it gives off a real deadly, like, assassin vibe. The helmet just suits that perfectly. Fantastic. And then moving on to Halo 2 Anniversary, we have 2 different versions of Master Chief's armor, the Mark 6. We have the gameplay version, so the in-engine version, which, I mean, again, it's going to go on par with the original Halo 2 Chief. And then we also have the blur version, which I actually kind of prefer to the gameplay version. It almost looks like his armor is made out of stone in the blur cutscenes. It is noticeably different to the in-game model in its textures and materials, and I really, really like it. Not as much as OG Halo 2, but a bit more than the gameplay version of Halo 2 Anniversary's Chief. I mean, they're all goddamn beautiful. It's like picking perfection from perfection right here, but that's my ranking for those very niche versions. Oh, and then we get to multiplayer. Halo 2 Anniversary multiplayer is in Halo 4's engine, and thus all the armor is like Gen 2 armor. I don't like the Gen 2 version of the Mark 6 helmet at all. It looks like a Wish.com version of Mark 6. You know that meme where it's like, oh, can I pick up this thing? No, honey, we have that thing at home. Well, that's how I feel about the Mark 6 helmet in Halo 2 Anniversary, Halo 4, and Halo 5. It just doesn't look right. The proportions are off. There's just something wrong with it. It's like it's almost a bit like Uncanny Valley in a way. There's just something off with it. And also, real quick, you'll notice that we have a tier below D tier for this video. We have the aptly named Seeker tier, which is the lowest tier of helmet. So yeah, you'll see that get some use later on, I think. Next up, we have a helmet that I'm going to have to consult my handy Word document on my other monitor to get the name of, Centurion. So this is like the earliest version of Fred's helmet, but I just think it looks really, really bad. It's going in Seeker tier as well. This looks like a cheap knockoff of some Halo armor. I'm sorry, I think it looks awful. However, the next one, Hoplite, I think it looks pretty good. I'm going to put in top of C tier, I'd say. Hoplite looks pretty good. More definition to the helmet. It doesn't look quite as goofy as Centurion does in Halo 2 Anniversary. Then we have Orion. Orion, I'm going to put it in A tier because the proportions are a bit too curvy for me in Halo 2 Anniversary, but it's based on the like 1999 version of Bungie's Chief of like the pre-Mark V, which just looks absolutely gorgeous. If it was a 1-to-1 of that original version, it'd be S+ tier near the top. But as much as I do love the Halo 2 Anniversary version of Orion, the helmet is like the weakest part of it because it's just a bit too curvy. I love how the body armor has like the missile launcher on it, but we're not looking at body armor in this video. We're looking only at helmets, and the helmet's probably the weakest part. Still great, but not as good as the rest of it. Moving over to Elites, we have the Halo 2 Anniversary Campaign Arbiter, which is just absolutely beautiful. I'm putting it below the Halo 2 Classic Arbiter and Minor Elite, Combat Elite, whatever it is, but I still think it's absolutely goddamn gorgeous. Fantastic. You can tell that it's like quite heavy armor. Whenever Arbiter moves, you can hear the armor moving, which I really like, but there's just something that I prefer about the... Maybe it wasn't meant to be like this, but maybe this is the graphics of Classic Halo 2, but the more matte look to his armor in Classic Halo 2, I prefer, but I mean, it still looks absolutely gorgeous in Halo 2 Anniversary. Oh dear God, well, these three can just go to the same tier at the same time. What are they even called? The Minor Armor, Outrider, and Invader from Halo 2 Anniversary multiplayer.
What is that? What the fuck is that?
Awful. Vile looking helmets, disgusting, not a fan, awful looking, just... The less we talk about those ones, the better. Right then, moving on to Halo 3, starting out with probably the most iconic Halo armor of all time. I prefer Mark V. It's on par. Halo 3 Mark 6 is on par realistically with Halo 2 Mark 6 and Halo 1 Mark 5. I love them all equally, but it's just I don't need to say anything else. I can just present this helmet on a screen. You can look at this helmet and it just speaks for itself. Absolutely beautiful, iconic design, iconic silhouette. You know what this thing is from a mile off. Like, absolutely gorgeous. And then moving on to the multiplayer helmet, starting out we have EVA, which I like in Halo 3, but I prefer it in later games. So it's going to go top of A tier right now. It's all right. The fishbowl helmet, as we used to call it, the sniper magnet, as many people used to call it back in the day. Then CQB, which I really like, S tier. I love CQB. Before I got Xbox Live and before I beat the campaign on Legendary, EOD was my go-to. But speaking of beating the campaign on Legendary, we have EOD, top of S tier. I love Halo 3's EOD. I was never a fan of how Reach, and I think it was Reach and Halo 5, had the EOD with the one line for the eyes. I much preferred the individual like visors for each eye. I think Halo 3's EOD is beautiful. It's the best version of EOD for me. Top of S tier. Hayabusa, it's just not what you used to. Gonna go S tier, S+ tier rather. Hayabusa, I absolutely love. I never understand when people try to say that Hayabusa didn't fit Halo 3's art style. Like, what? Are you kidding? Like, it looks gorgeous in Halo 3's art style. I absolutely love Hayabusa. I really wish Team Ninja would work with Microsoft again in some capacity so we could get Hayabusa back, because obviously it was inspired by Ryu Hayabusa from Ninja Gaiden, so it wasn't exactly a Halo helmet, but I think it fit the Mjolnir platform beautifully, and all the like imitations of Hayabusa since and all the other Japanese helmets, some of them look good, in particular Infinites, but none of them look anywhere near as good as Hayabusa. Halo 3 Scout, S tier as well. I love Scout in Halo 3. Absolutely adore it. Very sleek and quite a deadly look to it. I love how almost sly it looks. Halo 3 Recon. This might surprise some of you. My favorite helmet, one of my favorites, beneath the three main Chief helmets. I think Halo 3 Recon is the best. I don't really like Reach Recon. I can't stand 4 and 5 Recon, and I don't like the Recon, the Trailblazer in Infinite. Halo 3 is the best version of Recon. It just looks so elite. I love it. I also love Halo 3 security, top of S tier, inspired by Marathon. Also comes with an antenna on the back, which, I mean, any antennas with power armor, I'm a huge fan of. Really invokes like a kind of 80s, 90s sci-fi anime vibe, which I adore, which was obviously a lot of the inspiration for Halo. But I love it. I absolutely love the security helmet. Beautiful, very fitting in Halo's art style and also Marathon's. Halo 3 ODST, also going to go in S tier, just a bit below Marathon, but I love it about the same, really. Beautiful, iconic design that is still beloved nowadays. Halo 3's Mark V Delta is actually going to go bottom of S tier. Plus tier rather. I think this is one of the best iterations of Mark V. In fact, the best iteration of Mark V besides the original Mark V. And finally, for the Spartans, Halo 3 Rogue, which is also going to go in S tier. Above EOD, honestly for me, above ODST. I love Halo 3's Rogue. It's a shame how much it was butchered in future games, but Halo 3's Rogue almost reminds you of a Bionicle, the little circle where the mouth is. I love it, and I'd love to see it come back in Infinite. Gen 3 Rogue like that would be absolutely gorgeous. I'd love that. Moving over to the elites, we have the Halo 3 Arbiter, which is on par with Halo 2's Arbiter for me. I absolutely love it. Not very much to say. I just think it looks fantastic, although it was meant to be silver. I think there's some interpretations of it that are like look kind of bronze. I'm pretty sure it's meant to be silver, and I prefer that. Halo 3's Combat Elite helmet, S tier. Kind of hard ranking these alongside Spartan helmets, so I'm going to put it there. The Assault helmet, I also love, but I'm going to put in... no, it's going there as well. Flight, I absolutely love Halo 3's Flight Elite helmet. This is going to go above ODST. And then we have the two God tier helmets in Halo 3. Ascetic and Commando are both S+ tier elite helmets. I love the tusks on Ascetic, and with Commando, just how like elite and fittingly Spec Ops it looks. I absolutely love those two helmets. Then moving on, we have a bunch of the other helmets that were added to Halo 3 in MCC, starting out with the Fireteam Raven ODST helmets, and these I really like. Honestly, these are all going to go in the same tier. They're all going to go at the bottom of S tier because I think they all look fantastic. We have the Communications helmet with a little antenna on the side, which is going to go the highest ranking out of all of them because it's got an antenna. How can it not? We then have the ODST Demolitions one, which is like slightly thick around the bottom. We have the ODST Heavy one, which has the up armor plating from Reach on the top. And then the ODST Tactical one, which has the, I forgot what it's called now, the thing on the side that you can get in Reach. I also love that. So those helmets are fantastic. They were very good additions to Halo 3. And then we have also, actually another good addition, we have the SPI armor that was added to Halo 3 as well, which again, I think the proportions are slightly off. I kind of feel the same about this as I do the SPI armor, the Orion armor in Halo 2 Anniversary, but I'm still going to put it a little bit higher than original Halo 3 EVA. Very cool having SPI armor in Halo 3, although I think it would have been more fitting in Reach, considering we're playing as Spartan 3s in Reach and Spartan 2s in Halo 3, but it is what it is. I still think it looks fantastic. Right then we have all of the like Halo Online versions of armor that came to Halo 3. I'm not going to spend much time talking about these, to be honest with you. They're all prototypes of the armor that we got in Halo 4 and Halo 5, and I'm not really a fan of that armor art style at all. Aerosol is okay. I think Aerosol is probably one of the most fitting ones. Aviator, I don't like. Which one's this? COS, I don't know what's going on there.
What
this
the
one?
fuck is that?
Compass, no. It's better than the elites though. Deadeye is a helmet that I actually really like in Halo 4 and Halo 5, but this version looks terrible. It's also going down there. Demo, I guess it's okay, moderately okay. Hammerhead, what the hell were they even thinking? Hive Mind, cool lore, but good lord, put it in Seeker tier. However, right, so these ones here, I don't think many people agree with me here, but these helmets that have like the Forerunner lines in them, I actually really like. I'm not a massive fan of many of the designs of the helmets. However, I'd love to see some more, like maybe in Infinite Gen 3 armor, actual like standard Gen 3 Mjolnir that has some of these like blue lines integrated into them that have like, they kind of give off the vibe that Forerunner tech has been partly incorporated into the Mjolnir. And these I do like. This is Infiltrator. I'm going to put this top of C tier. This one, I don't think is very, very good. It actually kind of reminds me of a Doom Sentinel design a little bit. What's it called? Lancer. Top of D tier. This one, Navigator. No, thank you. It's probably the best of the D tier ones. This one is weird. Nom-Drago. You know, kind of cool. Pioneer. No thanks. This one though, which is called Rhine. I actually do quite like this. This is gonna go. Honestly, B tier. I do like that. The 4 in a line is doing it for me. I really like them. Soldier, didn't like it in 4 or 5 or Halo 3. I love Infinite's version, but this is just not bottom of D tier. In fact, it's better than whatever the hell that is there.
What the fuck is that?
What's this one? Suture. I guess. This one is Tanker. I guess it's moderately okay. Better than Aviator. I've never liked Aviator. Stick it there. And then Warrior. Warrior, again, is one of the few Halo 4 and Halo 5 armors that I did quite like. But this prototype version is so ugly. Not as bad as Hammerhead. It's down there. And then we have the Halo 3 MCC Elite armors, which on the flip side, I did quite like for the most part. The Accord, which was kind of like a Helm of Netzenot version of the combat helmet from Halo 3. I think that can go B tier. We have the Artisan helmet, which is all right. Probably go about there in C tier. The General, I don't like this. I don't like really big elite helmets. Elite helmets for me, besides Counselor and Honor Guard are the 2 exceptions to this, but all the others should be really sleek for me, and this isn't, so this is going to go D tier, probably at the top, to be honest with you. Kirkwood, again, it's a bit too big, but not as bad as General, so C tier. Asuna, this is pretty good. B tier, I'd say. I like the holographic lights on it. Scion here, this is okay. Probably just a bit below that one in C tier. And then I think this is Seneschal, the last one. Seneschal is, I'd probably say D tier, top of it. Right then, moving on to Halo Reach. Oh, this game has some good helmets. Mark 5B, I've never been a huge fan. I like it a lot, but it's not like an S plus tier one for me. I would say, yeah, I'd say a bit above CQB. About S tier. CQC, yeah, it's alright. Top of A tier. ODST in Reach, I like. I'm going to put it on par with Halo, or a bit lower than Halo 3s. I prefer Halo 3s. Hazop, you won't hear this coming out of me much, but Hazop, this is the one armor variant, or helmet variant, that I actually prefer the Gen 2 version of to the Gen 1 version. I think the Gen 1 version is really kind of meh, so I'm going to put it in D tier. Reach EOD, I do like it, but it's nowhere near as good as Halo 3's EOD, so I'm going to put it in B tier, I think. Operator, this has grown on me quite a lot over the years. I hated it for some reason when Reach first came out, but over the years, it's kind of grown on me, you know? So Operator, I'm going to put in A tier, above CQC. George's Grenadier helmet, never been a huge fan, to be quite honest with you. I'm going to put it in B tier. You know what? Same with Cat's Air Assault as well. Air Assault is a helmet that, regardless of Gen 1, Gen 2, Mark 5, Mark 6, whatever, just kind of meh to me. But what isn't meh is a helmet that I love, and that's June's version of Scout, like the prototype version of Scout or something. I'm going to put it just below Rogue and Marathon, or I think in the codename security in Halo 3 is called Marathon, and I've always called it Marathon for some reason. So if I keep calling it Marathon in this video, then that you know what I'm talking about. But yeah, June Scout is going to go a bit below Marathon and Rogue. EVA, I preferred EVA in Reach. In fact, I quite like Reach's EVA. I'm going to put it above those ODST helmets. JFO, I loved because it always looked like a clone commandos, like a Republic Commando, clone commandos helmet from Star Wars. So I'm going to put that in S tier as well, below EOD, because Halo 3 EOD is king. Commando helmet, love it. Gonna put it, yeah, above JFO. EVAC. You guys know my thoughts on Emil. I love Emil. So it's gonna go above Scout. There we go. Love EVAC so much. Halo Reach's Mark 5. That's a top of S tier one. I prefer Halo 3's technically Mark 5 Delta, but at the same time, I think Reach's Mark 5 is also really good. Pilot. I really like Pilot in Reach, actually. It's another one of those helmets like Operator that I didn't like at all when I first played Reach, but over the years, it's grown on me quite a lot. So where did I put EVA? I'm going to put it above EVA, above Mark 5B. Yeah, about there. And one helmet that you would not be surprised to know I absolutely adore from Reach is Haunted. Haunted is definitely S+ tier, below EVAC. What a cool, like, Easter egg final piece of customization to get that was hidden right at the end of such a massive, long customization trail. Fantastic. I'd love to see something like that come back in Infinite at some point. Halo Reach Recon. I like it a lot more than Halo 4 and Halo 5's, but it's nowhere near as good as Halo 3's. I would say Halo Reach Recon is, for me, top of A tier. I prefer it to all of those. Probably shouldn't have included this, but Reach's Mark 6 just looks fantastic. There, I'd say. Fantastic, perfect proportions. It's just exactly the same as it was in Halo 3, which is great. Oh, the one that people either love or hate, the Marmite of helmets. Gungnir, or Gungnir as it's technically pronounced, but Gungnir helmet for me, Gungnir, is absolutely S+ tier. People disagree with me, but I absolutely adore Gungnir. I think it's a beautiful helmet. I love the more like, the stranger, like more mysterious look of it with the massive thing that covers the visor. I don't know, there's just something about it that I've always loved. I don't know why. As soon as I first saw it in Reach, I was like, what? Like, I need to get to, was it Lieutenant Colonel or Brigadier General where you unlocked it? Whichever one it was, I was like, right, I need that helmet and I need it stat. I love it. It's been my go-to helmet since Reach. Beautiful helmet. Still really mad at how they brought it back in Infinite, how they locked it behind a bloody paywall and then didn't put it into the Mark 5 core. Oh, anyway, if we dwell on that, we'll be here for days upon weeks upon end. A helmet that I don't like at all is Reach's version of security. I don't know what they were thinking with this. I don't know if it's meant to be something else in Marathon, but I don't like it. It's not quite Seeker tier, but it's better than Hazard. It's top of C tier. Top of C tier. Another helmet as well, actually, that I really don't like because I don't like Reach's Marine design or the Army Trooper design. And the Military Police helmet is literally just their helmet turned into a piece of Mjolnir. Don't like it at all. It's my least favorite piece of Reach armor full stop, actually. Not just helmet, armor full stop. So it's going in D tier. And then Reach CQB doesn't look anywhere near as cool as Halo 3's, to be honest with you. It can go top of... B tier with the EOD. I just find most helmets that were in Reach and Halo 3 looked better. Their versions in Halo 3 just looked better, and CQB is one of those. And then finally, we have the 3 helmets that were added to MCC Reach, which we start off with the version of GRD that's like before GRD. Akis, that's what it's called. Akis on its own, I'd say... yeah, top of B tier. I think it's pretty cool. But GRD, I love GRD for the same kind of reason that I love Gungnir, with how weird it looks and how, like, it looks like it shouldn't function properly because you've got a massive thing covering the visor. But I don't know, I just think it looks so sick. I'm going to put GRD in S tier. Yeah, between CQB and Mark 5B. I think it's fantastic. And finally, we have Mariner, which was added to Reach, which was another one of the cut ones that Bungie never added back in the day. Mariner's alright. I'd say it's not as good as Security, but better than Hazop. Yeah, goes about there, I'd say. Now for Reach's Elites. This is kind of where I start to dislike the Elite design, so some of these might be ranked a little bit lower than Halo 3's. But starting out, we have the Elite Miner, which I guess is fine. I prefer the Halo 2 version vastly, and Halo 3, so it's going to go bottom of A tier. It works. The Elite Officer, I kind of like the pointy thing on his helmet, so I'm going to put it a little bit above Miner. Spec Ops, I do really like in Reach, especially when I see it on Silent Shadow Elites. I love it. I mean, I think that's meant to be the inspiration for the Silent Shadow helmets, which I love. So Spec Ops is definitely going to go in S tier. That's the only Halo Reach Elite armor that's going to go in S tier, but I think it looks fantastic. Ranger, I never really liked that much. I always preferred the Flight helmet. In fact, Flight, where is it? Flight looks so much better than Ranger. Ranger's C tier, I'd say down there. Which one's this? Ultra? There's Ultra. Okay, yeah, Ultra I do like quite a lot because it looks a little bit inspired by the Counselor headdress, which is always a positive. So I'm going to go A tier. Yeah, I'd say above those. Reach's Zealot, not the biggest fan, but also do kind of like it. But I think, I don't know. I honestly think Commando's helmet, the Commando helmet from Halo 3 would have been a better suit for the Zealots than this. I'm going to put it in A tier, a bit below the Ultra. Looks pretty good, but not the best. We then have General. I don't like the General helmet at all. Like I said earlier, I don't like elite helmets that are really big. Like, besides Honor Guard and Counselor, I don't like them, and it's just too big. However, Field Marshal I do like. It's like an evolution of the Zealot. I'd say I'd like it about the same. It's like Zealot with like a new set of horns, like 2 sets of horns instead of 1. But I think it looks pretty good, so it's going to go into A tier. And so, that concludes Reach. On to Halo 4. Right, starting off, we have Chief's Mark 6 mod in Halo 4. This I like, but nowhere near as much as Chief's Mark 5 from Halo 1 or Mark 6 from Halo 2 or Halo 3. For me, I would say this is probably a B tier helmet. I like it, but I'm not sad to see it gone. Right, for these next ones, I need to consult my my dictionary on my other screen, my Word document with every single helmet name. Starting out with Halo 4's Gen 2 armor. I don't really like Gen 2, so a lot of these are going to go quite low. Air Assault, it's okay. It's alright. It's not offensively ugly, but it's not great. What is ugly is Aviator. I'll pass, thank you very much. Yeah, stick it there. CIO, this one I actually do kind of like. I like the 3 white dots for the eyes. I'm going to put that, you know what? I'm going to stick that there in C tier. I do kind of like the eyes in that. Commando, no. Halo Reach's Commando is considerably better than this. This is going to go bottom of C tier. Deadeye? Yeah, Deadeye, I'd stick Deadeye in B tier. I kind of like it. Again, it has that kind of like deadly, like almost sniper vibe to it. I do like Deadeye quite a lot. Defender. Oh dear, no. Into the Seeker tier you go, my friend. That is not a nice helmet at all. It looks like a sad Lego piece. It just looks weird. Enforcer. This was all right. Yeah, you know what? Enforcer can go B tier. I thought Enforcer was decent. Engineer. C tier. A bit below CIO. Yeah, a bit below. In fact, you know what? CIO, I'm gonna bump up a little bit to bottom of B tier, but Engineer goes below like Security and Mariner. EOD in Halo 4, I didn't like EOD in this game. I'm gonna put it in D tier, higher than Aviator. EVA was disgusting in Halo 4. Photos, it's alright. I think Photos actually looks a lot better without the horn. If you take the horn off Photos looks pretty sick, but with the horn, it's just, I don't know, it's a bit much. I'm going to put it in C tier. Yeah, I'd say about there. Oh no, look how they massacred my boy. Look how they massacred my boy. Halo 4 and 5 Gungnir, no thank you. It looks like a T-Rex smiling. It's not quite Seeker tier, but it's also, yeah, it's better than the Halo 3 ones, but not better than the rest of those. Not a fan. Hazop, right then, finally I can talk about this. I really like Gen 2 Hazop so much more than Halo Reachers. I'm going to put this, believe it or not, in B tier, on par with Mark 6 mod, which sounds quite weird to say out loud. I think it looks really cool. I can imagine those guys going into like a flood containment zone in armor and helmets like that essentially look like Mjolnir hazmat suits in a way. They just, I don't know, it just looks really, really cool. I like those a lot. What the hell is that? Infiltrator. No. I'll pass, thank you very much. Here we go. Keystone, like the prototype version of Mark 7. I mean, it has to go in S tier because Mark 7 is absolutely fantastic. We'll get to this in a minute when we get to Infinite, but Mark 7 is one of my favorite Halo helmets of all time. And the Keystone helmet, which is essentially the one they put into Halo 4 before Infinite came out, is just a copy and paste of Mark 7, and it's equally as beautiful. Mark 7 is a little bit better, but Keystone is also great. Locust, Locust is okay. It's all right. It can go below Photos. Mark 5. Yeah, Mark 5 in... Yeah, there you go. Mark 5 in Halo 4 I thought was pretty decent. It wasn't a great interpretation of the original one, but I do kind of like it as its own version of Mark 5, so it can stand among Hazop and Mark 6 mod, I think. Oh dear. Oh dearie me. The Halo 4 and Halo 5 version of Mark 6. We kind of already covered that in Halo 2 Anniversary, but this version, it's a little bit different, at least it looks it to me. The one in Halo 4 and Halo 5 is just, oh, not nice. It's too tall, I think, the helmet is. There's just something off with it. There's something wrong with the design of this helmet that makes it look like a Wish.com version of Mark 6. Like, it just looks wrong. It looks like a pale imitation of it. I don't know why they couldn't get it right, but it just looks wrong. It's so weird as well because it looks so wrong in Halo 4 and Halo 5, and then Infinite comes along, and they forthwith make it again for Mark 5B this time, and it just looks perfect. So I don't know what was going on there. Speaking of not knowing what was going on there, dear God, Halo 4's ODST, Jesus H. Christ, what in the hell is that meant to be? I think, again, the less we talk about that, the better. Let's move on, shall we? Move on. Oceanic. It's like an old Big Daddy kind of helmet. Cool idea, but I don't like it. Yeah, you can go about that. I mean, these ones here are all pretty much interchangeable. Besides EOD, they're all interchangeable, to be honest with you. Operator, nah, I'm alright, thank you. I prefer Reachers. Oh god, Orbital. No, 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 no. This is like, again, like the Wish.com version of EVAC. With almost like a silly little looking skull on the visor. Just no, thank you. Pathfinder. You know what? I'm really surprised at how well I can remember some of these Halo 4 and Halo 5 names. Pathfinder, I believe that is right. I'm probably getting it. Nope, Pathfinder. Getting it right. I'm getting it right. Pathfinder. It's all right. It's all right. A bit above Engineer and above Locus as well. Yeah, it goes about there. Pioneer. The only reason anyone got this was so we could get the XP boost perk in Halo 4 for the specialization. Other than that, the helmet is disgusting, so it's going to go into D tier. Oh, I forgot about this one. Prefect. Halo 4 Gen 2 armor going into S+ tier. You heard it right, ladies and gentlemen. S+ tier for a piece of Gen 2 armor. They said it had never happened, but it did. This is a piece of armor that was designed in Halo 4, inspired by Bungie's original vision of the Prometheans, and I absolutely adore this piece of armor. I really want it back in Infinite as like a Fracture armor or like Gen 3 or something like that. I think it's a beautiful helmet, absolutely cool as hell. Very like traditional Forerunner-y. I can imagine Forerunners fighting a flood with this helmet on. That's just like peak Forerunner vibe to me. I think it's a fantastic helmet, fantastic armor as well, but fantastic helmet in particular. The hell is that? The face that looks like it's shriveled up. What the hell? Protector? Yes, Protector. This is your face when you eat too many sour sweets. You eat an entire pot of warheads and that's what you look like. It's alright. Acceptable, I guess, bottom of C tier. Raider was like the Halo 4 attempt at something like Hayabusa, but like, how dare you stand where he stood? It's gonna go in a bit below EOD. It wasn't too bad. Ranger? Now, okay, right. So, Ranger, I think it's ugly, but there's something about it that I kind of like. I don't know what it is. There's something about it that I kind of like. So Ranger's going to go about there, I'd say. Even though it's really ugly, and like I can acknowledge that it's really ugly, but I kind of like it for some reason. Oh no, Halo 4 and Halo 5 Recon. No, that's going D tier. That's just a bit below EOD. It just looks wrong. I don't like it at all. The King is right up there in S+ tier. Reaches is okay, but this is just, nah, no thank you. Recruit, I mean, it worked well as like a default helmet, right? It worked alright as a default helmet. I don't think it looks bad by any means. I think it's probably a C tier helmet, honestly. Around Ranger and CIO, yeah, not CIO, Engineer, I'd just say there. Recruit's alright. Ricochet was meant to be like an NFL helmet, but Mjolnir's, I don't particularly like it. Below Orbital. Rogue, look how they massacred my boy. Granted, I don't think Rogue in Halo 4 and Halo 5 looks too bad. It's like a cool take on EVA, like a more angular EVA. So actually, even though I said that at the start, I actually don't mind Halo 4 and Halo 5 Rogue. If it was a different helmet, if it wasn't called Rogue, I think I'd like it a lot more. But compared to that masterpiece up there, it's nothing even close. C tier, I'd say. I did wear it a lot back in Halo 4. Another one, Scanner. everyone took the piss out of this in Halo 4 and Halo 5. I think it's okay. I think Scan is alright. C tier, not as high as Rogue. Not higher than that. I'd say about, yeah, bottom of C tier. It's okay. It's okay. Halo 4 Scout. I like this a lot. I'm actually going to put this, I think, in B tier. Yeah, B tier. I prefer it to Mark 6 mod. Yeah, B tier. I was really happy that Palmer had that as her helmet, so I think it looks really good. I do like the Reach version of Scout, but I always miss the Halo 3 version with the like angular pointed kind of helmet and like brim of the helmet. So I was happy to see that come back. Even though I do prefer Reach's Scout to Halo 4 and Halo 5's, I still really like Halo 4 and Halo 5's version of it. Soldier, no thank you. D tier, it's not quite as bad as some of those down there. Soldier can go there next to Recon. Not great. Stalker in Halo 4, I kind of like. It's like the Brute Stalker inspired helmet. This can go in C tier. Yeah. You know what, C tier. I wore this quite a lot in Halo 4 back in the day, so it's going to go, yeah, there in C tier. The hell is that? Strider. See, with the name Strider, being a massive Lord of the Rings fan, you'd think, oh, I'd love this helmet, but no, not really. It's like a very ugly version of EVA. EVA is already ugly enough in Gen 2, so this is just like, yeah, it's about as bad, to be honest with you. Tracker, I like Tracker quite a lot. B tier, above yeah, you know what, above Deadeye. I do like Tracker quite a bit. The 3 dots, a bit like CIO, but really close together, right in the middle. I don't know, it just gives off this almost like Predator vibe. I like it quite a lot. Vanguard, it's alright. No, it's not. What am I saying? It's acceptable. It can go alongside Recon and Soldier. Venator. I like Venator. Venator is going to go in B tiers, among the B tiers. I'm pretty sure Venator was meant to be inspired by Isaac Clarke's engineer helmet in Dead Space. It looks really similar. And I remember back in the day grinding all the assassinations for the assassination commendation in Halo 4 so I could unlock this, because I liked it quite a lot back then, and I still like it a good amount now. So I think that's a pretty decent B tier helmet. War Master, nope. Never liked War Master. The Infinite version is the best version, but even then I don't really like it. Next to Gungnir. Warrior, I think, for me at least, it's a C tier helmet. Probably the best of Halo 4 C tiers. Looks pretty good. And then Wetwork. I actually kind of like this one. It's another one of those weird ones that doesn't make any sense. Like Gungnir, like Scanner, like some other ones that I'll probably touch on, like GRD. But I do like it. That's another C tier one, above Pathfinder, I'd say. I do like Wetwork. It's decent. Oh dear God, now it's time to get on to Halo 5. So I prefer Halo 4's armor quite a lot over Halo 5's. Halo 5 was like the literal definition of quantity over quality. There was so much just like filler in this game. So let's begin with actually a good one, Achilles. Achilles I thought was sick. Achilles is a B tier helmet for me. Yeah, about there, next to Venator and Scout. I think Achilles is really sick. I actually also think Anubis is pretty good as well. However, I vastly prefer Halo Infinite's Anubis. Halo Infinite's Anubis looks fantastic. This one is bottom B tier, I would say. What the bloody hell is that? Argonaut. Yeah, I'll pass, thank you very much. Yeah, down there. Argus, Linda's helmet, I kind of like. Same reason I like Gungnir and all those ones. It's a weird looking helmet, but I do kind of like it. It's going to go a bit higher than Anubis, I think. About there. Athlon, I never liked this. I did not like this at all. That's a Seeker tier helmet right there. It just, I don't know, just doesn't look very nice. It just looks very, like, too circular and compact. Not a fan. Atlas, it's not quite Seeker tier, but it's definitely D tier. Breaker, ugh. No. That's even lower than... Ooh. You know what? That's the lowest one yet. That is. Christ almighty. What is that meant to be? I think it was meant to be like the official Mjolnir of Breakout, but it just looks awful. So does Buccaneer as well. So another Seeker tier helmet. Centurion, though. Fred's helmet in Halo 5. I do like quite a bit. On par with Argus. In fact, maybe yeah, they're equal. They're equal, they are. I like Centurion a decent amount. It's definitely one of the diamonds in the, maybe not diamonds in the rough, maybe like a sapphire in the rust, in the rough in Halo 5, I'd say. Challenger, it's like a version of Protector from Halo 4, but like a bit altered. Yeah, you know what, Challenger's decent. Challenger's alright. Like, it's serviceable, I guess. But what isn't serviceable is Cinder. No, thank you very much. That's going to go into D tier. I think D tier is going to be packed after this one. Copperhead, Veil's helmet. I also like that. In fact, I think, to be honest with you, all of Osiris and Blue Team's helmets are going to be next to each other because I love them all. Love is a strong word. I like them all equally. Cyclops. Okay. Brace yourself. I'm going to get roasted for this one. I actually kind of like it. Similar to how I like Gungnir and all those, like the covering of the face, I kind of like Cyclops. Very enigmatic helmet, very like kind of ultra techy, but I like that in this sense. Oh, not ultra techy, that's the wrong word. I mean more like industrial. It looks a bit like an industrial kind of set of Mjolnir, and I like that look, so it's going to go into B tier. Cypher, I guess it's okay. I guess Cypher's alright. Yeah, let's put it there, below the Stalker helmet. Oh, Decimator. So I've not included any of the Reach helmets, the Reach classic helmets that came back in Halo 5, besides Decimator, because this is another instance of looking how they massacred our boy. Mark 5 Beta isn't my favorite helmet, but I really, really like it. This, Jesus H. Christ, what did they do to it? What did they do to it? It's not as bad as the ruined Mark 6, but it's bad. It just looks awful. There's no brim. It's so flat. It's like he's been put in like a hydraulic press. You know that German dude who puts everything into hydraulic presses on YouTube that was really big a few years ago? It looks like his helmet, like the Decimator helmet has been put into that and like compressed halfway down. I'll pass. Dynus, this is like some weird, ugly malformation of CQB. It's not quite Seeker tier, but it's also very ugly. Yep. Oh god, we have to zoom out again. There's so many. Right then. Fenrir. No. What is going on with that visor? Foehammer. Oh no, they did our girl so dirty. Foehammer's a legend, and you gave her this ugly looking helmet. No. Down you go. Yeah, about there. Freebooter was like some weird EVA with like random metal plates on the visor. Don't like it. Goblin, no, I never liked this. This is not quite a Seeker tier, but it's probably yeah, bottom of D tier. Heliosquill was I like the armor more than the helmet. I don't like the helmet as much as other people do, but it's good. I won't say it's not good because it is good. I'm gonna say for Heliosquill, there. Yeah, I prefer Tracker, but like Heliosquill more than Deadeye, I would say. Hellcat, I like Hellcat. Hellcat's good. That's gonna go next to Heliosquill. Having ancient human-inspired armor was sick, and I thought it looked really cool as well. I like Hellcat quite a lot. In fact, that's an armor that I'd love to see come back in Infinite, like honestly, a bit off tangent, but I'd love to see a fracture, like a almost canonical fracture in Infinite that is ancient human and ancient Forerunner armor turned into Mjolnir. That would be sick. Bring back like Prefect and Hellcat and all these other armors. Have like the Didax Mjolnir helmet as the last one in the unlocked tier or something. That would be sick. I'd love that. But yeah, back to the point. Hellcat, I did like quite a lot. Helljumper. This was a good helmet in Halo 5. This was an A tier helmet in Halo 5, in fact. This is one of the few times... Yeah, there. This is one of the few times where 343 took a classic helmet, ODST, and kind of like twisted it and changed it, and for me at least didn't completely ruin it. Like, this is a great different version of ODST to me. I love it. It's fantastic. I think it's a really good helmet. In fact, it's even a helmet that I'd like to see come back as a variant of ODST for Gen 3 in the future. That's how much I like it. Hermes, that's Kelly's version of EVA in Halo 5. This isn't going to go with all the other ones because I wasn't a massive fan of this. I would have rather have had the pilot helmet from Reach, like she does on Gen 3. Yeah, no, it's not even, I don't like it that much at all, D tier. Hunter, Locke's helmet. I like Locke's helmet quite a lot. This is probably, it's definitely a B tier helmet. It has that kind of like, a very like, yeah, it's going there. It has that very, very like Oni mysterious and deadly vibe to it, and I'd love to see it come back as a piece of Gen 3 armor at some point. I think it does look pretty cool. I think if you kind of like Gen 1/Gen 3ified it a little bit, it'd look even better. I think it looks fantastic. Icarus, oh god, he definitely flew too close to the sun, had his wax wings melt and then his helmet crushed to look like that. That's not good. Interceptor, no, bottom of D tier. Jumpmaster, it's got a weird horn on it. D tier, but it's not quite as bad as the others. No, Argonaut's better. It's, yeah, about there. Legionnaire. No, degenerates like this belong on a cross. This is going to the bottom of... No, it's not. What am I kidding? Hell no, this is Seeker tier. But where in a Seeker tier is the real answer? The real question, rather. It's not as bad as Foe Hammer, but it's pretty much as bad, to be honest with you. Mako, it was a Mjolnir helmet that tried to look like a shark, which is a cool idea. I can't deny it. That's a cool idea, but D tier. Marauder, this is another D tier helmet. It's not awful, but it's not great. There. Maverick, that's one of the cool little, actually, yeah, it has like the little white ears on it, like there. I kind of a little bit like this. C tier, bottom of C tier. I didn't hate Maverick. There are definitely worse helmets. Here we go. Halo 5's Mark IV. The first time we got to wear Mark IV in a first-person shooter game, and the version of it in Halo 5 was absolutely beautiful. This is going into S+ tier around there. I absolutely love Mark IV. The armor is incredible, and so is the helmet. They did such a good job making that in Halo 5. Fantastic job. Mark V Alpha, I think this one was. I didn't hate this as much as everybody else did, but that was mainly because of the armor. So the armor version of Mark V Alpha was almost identical to original like Halo 1 Chief armor, not Anniversary, Halo 1, Bungie Halo 1. But the helmet was a bit scuffed, so it's going to go in bottom of C tier. Because I didn't dislike the helmet as much as other people, but at the same time, I also didn't love it anywhere near as much as the armor. Nightfall, this was like a weird stretched out version of ODST, but it doesn't look awful. It's going to go in C tier as well next to Mark V Alpha. Which one is this? Nomad. It just looks like so many other mid helmets in this game. Yeah, it's alright. Olive, the Mjolnir version, it doesn't, I'm not a fan. It can go at the top of the D tier ones. Raijin, this was one of the kind of attempts to add a Hayabusa-esque helmet, and they tried this like 4 or 5 times in Halo 5 and it never really worked out. However, this is probably the best of all of them. I don't like it still, but it's probably the best. It's gonna go in D tier again. It's serviceable. It's serviceable. Reaper, this helmet I always remember being way too big and like bulky, but like I kind of like that, but at the same time it had like mutton chops. You know when you watch like a British like period piece set in like Victorian or Edwardian times, and all like the older men always have massive mutton chops? It reminds me of that, so it's gonna go above Challenger. So I didn't hate it, but at the same time I didn't really like it. Oh, this is another controversial one. I love the Recluse helmet in Halo 5. This for me, I can't put it in A tier because I can't rank it higher than... Oh, actually, no, you know what? No, it's going to go there. I really liked it. And we'll get onto this in a minute, but I like how Locus in Halo Infinite is like a blend of Locus and Recluse. It has like the eye pads from Recluse. It looks like a spider's helmet, which I think is really cool. Just very weird, like with Gungnir, very enigmatic, but I like it quite a lot. Hey, security! I was so happy to see security not just return in Halo 5, but also be the god tier marathon-inspired Halo 3 version over whatever the hell Bungie did with Halo Reach. So this is going to go into A tier at the bottom. I really, really like Halo 5's version of security. It's nowhere near as good as Halo 3's, but I still really like it, and I love that it's inspired by Marathon again. Seeker! There's no better place to put this than as the king of Seeker tier. It has to go at the top, sit atop his throne of ugly, weird, just wrong helmets. He's gonna vibe at the top of there. Yeah, he can sit there. Shinobi, this was another attempt at making some, like, high booster style armor. And in fact, I take back what I said earlier. This is better than Raijin, but I still didn't really like it. It's going to go top of D tier. Stinger, that was not a good helmet. That can go... It's better than Mako. Is it, though? Stick it there. Technician, this is Tanaka's helmet, and I kind of like this helmet, honestly. It's going to go... there, bottom of B tier. I liked it, but not as much as the other ones. Taishin, this was one, I think that was, it looks a bit like it's inspired by like some Power Ranger thing or something. Another one of the high booster-esque ones, but I don't like it. This is definitely bottom of D tier. Timmy, the whale one. I mean, I can't really rank this properly among the others. Same with Olive, because they're like silly helmets, but I don't like it. I can go D tier as well. Oh, dear Lord, Tracer. I don't think so. That is a disgusting looking helmet. It's not as bad as Fohammer and Legionnaire. Put it there. Oh, and we're zooming out once again because we've run out of space, and we're going to zoom out again. Right, that should cover all of them. That is the Valkyrie helmet, I do believe. So, it's alright. That's a C tier helmet, I'd say. About there. It's okay. It's alright. God, I can't even read the text now. But yeah, what helmet's that? I literally can't even read that. Oh, Vector. Ooh, no thank you. That helmet is a massive disservice to every Chris Vector in the world. A beautiful, beautiful gun with a disgusting set of Mjolnir that was named after it. It wasn't named after it. I'm just picking things out of thin air right now to say. Doing a tier list with over 200 things in is a fast track to delusion. Let me tell you. Anyway, continuing with what the hell is that? Oh god, Venture, that's disgusting. That can go down there with Tracer. Good lord. Oh, yes, another one that I like in Halo 5. The Viper helmet, the penultimate Halo 5 helmet, Viper. I like this one a lot. This can go in A with security. This is another one of those ones, the weird ones, like I've said, like Gunyear, but it had like a cool mask over the visor and this little antenna that stuck out the top of it, which I thought looked so sick. I really did like that helmet a lot, and honestly, I'd like to see a kind of Rakshasa version of that helmet, 'cause I think it'd fit that core quite well in Halo Infinite. And finally, we have Void Dancer, which again looks a bit like a Doom kind of helmet, like a Doom Sentinel helmet, like a Night Sentinel-esque helmet. Void Dancer was decent. Void Dancer, I'd say, was a B tier helmet, bottom of B tier, but yeah, it was decent. It was decently cool. Right then, finally, we can get back to some properly good helmets, going to Halo Infinite. Starting out, we have Chief's Mark 6 Gen 3, which is going to go right the way up here next to his Blur version. There. Absolutely beautiful set of armor, or helmet specifically. Gorgeous, a great... It's essentially the same as like Halo 2 and Halo 3 Mark 6 with a little bit of Mark 6 mod thrown in, a bit of the chunkiness of it, which I like, not as much as the classic, but I still love it. It's a fantastic looking helmet, absolutely gorgeous. And then we're going to split these down by core, starting off with the Mark 7 core. So first off, we have Infinite's version of Anubis, which is absolutely an A tier helmet. It's going to go... yeah, above Helljumper. Mark 7 Aviator. I've never liked Aviator. I don't like any of them. Aviator is going to go in D tier, probably around there. I've never liked Aviator. It just looks weird. Like, I get the inspiration is from like a World War I flight cap or something, which is kind of cool. Well, it is cool, but I just don't like how the armor looks. Mark 7 Brawler. It's like a weird version of Dynast from Halo 5, and I don't like Dynast, and I don't really like this. Probably C tier. Yeah, around there. Cavallino, I liked this until it became the default helmet, and then for some reason, like, seeing it all the time really wore off its cool factor to me, so it's gonna go bottom of B tier. It's definitely a good helmet, but I'm not a huge fan of it. Celox, which is Mark 7 Scout, I like a lot. Scout is S plus tier. This is going to go S tier, I would say, above Halo Reach Scout. I prefer it to Halo Reach Scout. The Enigma helmet. I'm not a massive fan of this one. It's too, like, bulbous and just too chunky. Bottom of C tier, I think. Oh, Firefall. I was so mad when they locked this behind a bloody paywall, because I think this looks absolutely beautiful. Firefall is absolutely S tier. Above EVA, yes, there. I think Firefall is a fantastic, like, Mjolnirization blend of the Halo 2 ODST helmet and the Halo 3 ODST helmet. I think it's an absolutely gorgeous helmet, and it's a travesty it was locked behind a paywall. Well, I say that, pretty much every piece of armor that is locked behind a paywall in Infinite is a travesty, because it all looks so good. Well, mostly. ISR, this is alright. I'd say this is a firm B tier helmet. Probably about there, I'd say. I think ISR is decent. It's decent. It doesn't stand out too much, I don't think. Linebreaker, this is very similar to whichever one that is. I think that's that Brawler, or I can't remember. Whichever one that is there. Linebreaker is very similar to it. I prefer it a little bit, but again, it's just a bit too, like, I don't know, a bit too round. I like angular helmets. That's why I like Mark 7 so much, because it's very angular, and really round circular helmets don't really do it for me. Mark 7. Oh my lord. When I first saw this helmet, when it was revealed ages ago in some toy, I remember immediately thinking, that helmet doesn't look out of place in Halo 3 or Halo Reach. It is one of my favorite Halo helmets of all time, full stop. Absolute masterpiece of a helmet. I would say, yes, there, just below Hayabusa. Mark 7 is gorgeous, an absolutely fantastic helmet that should have been the default helmet in Halo Infinite, I think, over Cavallino. It's just a lot more notable, and I think iconic. I honestly would say it's iconic at this point. It's just a gorgeous helmet, very angular. It carries forward some of the notes of Mark 5B from which originally, when Naomi was testing out Mark 7, it was essentially Mark 5B, so it carries a lot of the notes of that helmet forward, but I prefer it vastly to Mark 5B, to be honest with you. I think it's absolutely gorgeous helmet and a fantastic continuation of the Mjolnir line. Mark 5 Zeta, I don't mind, personally. That's, for me, A tier. Above those Halo 5 ones there. I think Mark 5 Zeta is actually alright. I think people would like it a lot more, or they'd rather be warmer to it, had Infinite had a version of Mark 5, like proper, actual, real Mark 5. Because I think this is a great interpretation of Mark 5 that's better than Mark 5 Alpha from Halo 5, much better than that, but not quite as good as Mark 5 Delta from Halo 3. Rampart, this is the one that you can kind of turn into EOD. I don't particularly like this. D tier, probably just above those Halo 5 ones. I'd rather have just had Mark 7 EOD, honestly. Would have been a lot nicer. Which one is this? Oh, Soldier. Oh, yes, Soldier. I absolutely love Halo Infinite's version of Soldier. Honestly, S tier for me. I think it looks fantastic. It looks like those, there's a helmet in Tarkov called, like, Raijin or something. That's like it's like a modern kind of, like, semi near future sci-fi-esque face mask, like ballistic face mask, and it looks like that. I love it. I think it looks sick. Stormfall. Now this is hard to rate because by default it looks really ugly, but then you put the Gunyear attachment on it and it looks exactly like Reach Gunyear. So I'm gonna have to put it lower because I'm not ranking attachments. So I'd prefer it to Aviator. I really don't like Aviator. Yeah, it looks so much nicer with the Reach Gunyear attachment on it because it just looks exactly like Reach Gunyear. But without that, not a fan. Also, not a fan of Trailblazer. It's just like a slightly better looking version of Halo 4 and Halo 5 Recon, but not by that much. Out of all those three there, you know what? I prefer it to... It's top of D tier, I think. Which one is this? Volant. Oh yeah, this is the one that's really tall for some reason. It looks freakishly tall. This is also going to go top of D tier, above Trailblazer, because I like the silhouette of it and the shape and how angular it is. It's just too tall. Way too tall. It looks like they've taken aerosol and just, like, put it in Photoshop, press Ctrl T and just dragged it up. It's a bit peculiar, but it's got a good silhouette. Warmaster. I think the Gen 3 Mark 7 whatever version of Warmaster is so much better than the original version, the Gen 2 version. B tier, I'd say around there. yeah, it's better. I'm not a huge fan of it, but it's better. And finally, we have Zvezda, which I think this is probably B tier alongside, no, actually, no, it's above that. Yeah, about there, above, whichever one that is, ISR, I think it is, or whatever, that one there. I like Zvezda. It's one of the few different versions of EVA that I actually like. Pilot and Zvezda are alterations of the EVA helmet that I really like. All the others, not so much. But Zvezda, I like the kind of tubes that go down at the bottom. They're like almost like rebreathers. I think they look pretty cool. Okay, I probably should have said this earlier, but I'm not doing the Mark V B core for Halo Infinite because it's like literally identical to Reach's. There's no point ranking the two of them because they're duplicates. So let's move on to the Yoroi core. Starting out with the Con Mage or Chon Mage. This one I don't really like. D tier, about there, I'd say. I'm not a huge fan of this one. In fact, there's really only two helmets in this core that I like. The next one, Hikashi, I also am not a huge fan of. Where did I put that one just then? It can go around there. However, I think that the Kabuto helmet is easily, without a shadow of a doubt, the best Japanese set of Mjolnir, Japanese-inspired Mjolnir since Hayabusa by a long shot. This one is S tier for me. Above Soldier, I think. Yeah, I think that's reasonable. Around the bottom of S tier. I think this is a fantastic. It doesn't try and be Hayabusa. It doesn't try and copy and paste it too much. It's very much like its own thing, but it's almost still kind of in line with Hayabusa. Like the ones in Halo 5 and Halo 4 were just messy. They just didn't look nice. Whereas this one looks very clean, very defined, very angular as well, but also very feudal Japanese inspired. And I think it looks beautiful. I also really like the yokai version of Locust, which is the final helmet for Yoroi. This is going to go B tier, at the top of B tier, I think. I really like this with the horns up there. It's meant to imitate a devil, like a Japanese folklore devil, which I think is really, really cool. And it fits the Locust platform really well. The Locust helmet fits this kind of almost stylization very nicely. Moving on to Rakshasa, starting out with Infinite's version of GRD, which I don't like as much as the Halo Reach version of GRD. However, I do still like this. It's going to go in A tier. I like it because it looks like a Bionicle helmet. It looks like Kapaka's helmet, which I think is really cool. And it's also, on its own, a good helmet as well, I think. Moving on, we have the Arteus helmet, which is used by Hugh Din, which has the teeth on the visor, which I think is pretty cool. This is one of those, quite... What's the term for it? Unpronounced helmets, if that makes any sense. It's not a ridiculous design. It's quite muted in its design, but I like that. It just gives off a really, traditional Halo vibe. So this is also going to go into A tier. Yeah, you know what, about there. The Cambion helmet, this one looks better with attachments, but as it is, it's like a weird version, like a shrunk down version of Warmaster. It looks a bit too small, so I'm going to put it at the bottom of B tier. Yeah, below Cavallino, I think. This one is Lechusa. I don't like this one all that much, at least in terms of the Mark 7 or Halo Infinite helmets, but I prefer it to Brawler, I think that is, so it can go there in B tier, or C tier rather. And then we have the Locust helmet, which I do like a lot more for the Rakshasa core than I do for the Gen 2 platform, because it has these platings on the eye that are like what the Halo 5 Recluse helmet had, like I said a few minutes ago. So this is going to go into B tier. I would say better than some of those, below Tracker. Yeah, about there. Morrigan, oh, this has to go into S tier. It just has to. This is the helmet that was inspired by that absolutely beautiful piece of Halo 5 concept art for Fred that never made it to the game. But they brought that helmet back, and in the lore as well, I know we're not covering lore, but I'm going to say it anyway. In the lore, technically, Fred tests this helmet as well. He's the one that tested this set of armor out, which is very, very cool. I think it's a really cool looking helmet, and it looks sick for the Rakshasa core in Infinite. And then we have the aptly named Rakshasa helmet, which I think also looks really, really sick. This is going to go in B tier, below Arteus, I think. I think I just prefer Arteus. Resetsu is very similar to Rakshasa, to be honest with you, except it's like the classic EOD where it has one, the Reach EOD where it has one visor over two individual ones. I prefer Rakshasa, but I also like this one. But the next one, right, Shikari, I'm gonna bend the rules a little bit here. I know I said I wasn't rating stuff by attachments, but this one is an exception because this helmet is the one that has nods with it, has NVGs as an attachment, and they look so sick. The standard helmet of Shikari looks good, but with the nods, for me, it's honestly an S tier helmet, just a bit below Morrigan. It looks so sick. It's my go-to Rakshasa helmet in Infinite. I don't change it ever, even when I've got Morrigan, even though because of the nod, it's going higher than Morrigan. I love it. I adore it. Strybog, I don't like this one, really. It looks like the Con Mage or Chon Mage one from the Yoroi core. But it's a bit better, but I still am not a massive fan of it, to be honest with you. And then ULLR, which I'm pretty sure is meant to be like a more militaristic Rakshasa version of the Scanner helmet from Halo 4 and Halo 5. And I really like ULLR. Fortunately, it was locked behind a bloody paywall, so I didn't get it, and I could never get it, which is amazing. Don't you just love that? I love modern free-to-play live service games. But either way, the ULLR helmet, I think, is really cool. It's going to go into A tier above GRD. Yeah, above GRD. In between Anubis and GRD. I love the massive piece of like metal technology on the front. It looks really sick, really militaristic like the rest of the Rakshasa core. Very cool. And then finally we have the Eaglestrike core for Halo Infinite that was inspired by World War I and I think also World War II armors as well, but mainly World War I. Starting out, we have the Brody helmet. This is alright. I think this is meant to be like a World War I English helmet. These armors I do think look pretty good, but they're not as good as Rakshasa or Yoroi, at least broadly speaking. It's going to go C tier near the top. We also then have the aptly named Eaglestrike helmet, which is a bit too flat for me, but I still like the overall design. The Kerberos helmet I really like. It was inspired by... Oh, I'll have a picture of it on the screen right now. I've forgotten the anime, but there's a really iconic like mid to late 90s anime that this helmet was inspired by, and it looks really cool. This is going to go into A tier, below Mark 5 Zeta. I think it looks fantastic. Lead Belcher, I think this looks awesome. This is like a industrial steampunk, like almost Fallout power armor-esque version of EOD. Even though it has like the one like visor, it's meant for like a power welding or like a welding helmet, welding mask. This is a sick helmet though. I really like this. This is going to go near the top of B tier. Yeah, about there. But ultimately, we have the M19-9X helmet. This is okay. I don't really have much to say about this one, to be honest with you. Bottom of C tier. I think it's decent. It's acceptable. And then the final helmet. My god, my voice is killing me. The final helmet is Sky Marshal, which was inspired by, I think it was a 60s comic. It might have even been earlier than the 60s, that was based in World War II. I think it was set in World War II. And it's meant to be inspired by the helmet that the main character wears in that. Not a huge fan, really. It's about the same as the M19-9X helmet. It's about there, I think. And so, with that said, that fits on screen almost perfectly. That is my ultimate Halo helmet tier list. Wow, that is a big, thick list, my lord. I think that's, honestly, that's exactly where I'd rank everything. If I went through and did this all again, I'd probably rank everything exactly the same. Let me know what your thoughts are on my rankings, if you agree with them, disagree with them, or whether you want to do your own. Link, of course, is in the description if you want to do your own. But yeah, let me know your thoughts on my rankings here down below in the comments. My brain is fried. This is the second video that I've recorded today, so I'm going to go lie down in a cold, dark room with a tall glass of tap water. So let's round this video out here. I want to give a massive thank you to my amazing patrons for the continued support over there. As per usual, thank you all so much, and thank you all so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and I'll catch you all in the next one.